Welcome back to Remarkable. Now, whether you're just starting out with circles in grade 6 or 7, or brushing up for your IGCSEs or O levels, this video is for you. Today, we are breaking down the key parts of a circle. The must know vocabulary like radius, diameter, chord, arc, sector, segment, and so on and so forth. But why is this important? This is important because once you know what these terms mean, you're way more prepared to handle the tougher, higher order questions that would pop up later. So let's begin. What is the circumference of a circle? The circumference of the circle is the distance around the circle. It is like the perimeter of the circle, but we have a special name for the perimeter of a circle. And what is that? The perimeter of the circle is known as the circumference. What is a radius? The distance from the center of the circle to the circumference. So this is the radius. Any line that joins the center and the circumference will be classified as a radius. Okay? The plural of radius is radii. Diameter. The diameter is the distance across the circle through the center point. So the diameter will pass through the center of the circle. That is a must. Okay. So this is the radius and this is the radius. Right. So two radii, they add up to one diameter. Okay. So this is a radius because this connects the center to the circumference. Similarly, this is also classified as a radius. So these two add up to a diameter. What is an arc? An arc is the part of a circumference. So this is the entire circumference. A part of the circumference is known as an arc. Okay, so we have two arcs here. This is the first one. Okay, let me use another. Okay, so the green one is one arc and this blue one is the second arc, right? So the green one, because it is smaller in size, is classified as the minor arc. And the blue one is classified as the major arc. Okay, what is a chord? A chord is a line that joins 2 points on the circumference. So any 2 points on the circumference, they are joined by a chord. Okay, a chord does not intersect the circle or does not cross the circumference boundary. Okay, in that case, this line would be known as the secant. Also, the longest chord of the circle, any guesses? Yes, it's the diameter. Okay, so we have 2 points here. If it passes through the center, then this will be classified as the diameter. So diameter is a special chord. It is the longest chord of the circle. Segment. The area bounded by the chord and an arc. Okay, so this is an arc and this is a chord. So the area bounded by a chord and an arc. By a chord and an arc. So this is a segment. But I also want you to notice that this is a chord and this is also an arc. This is the major arc, right? So this area is also classified as a segment. How do we differentiate between the two? Because this purple area is bounded by the chord and the minor arc, this is known as the minor segment, right? And the area bounded by the chord and the major arc is classified as the major segment. Okay. Now, what is a sector? A section of a circle created by two radii. So, this is the center, this is the circumference, this is radius 1, center, circumference, again a radius. So, the section of a circle created by two radii is known as the sector. Again, this two radii and a minor arc makes a minor sector, okay? And similarly, if you have a look at the other part of the circle, so two radii and the major arc will create a major sector. Okay, they are also informally known as the minor sector is known as the pizza slice, and the major sector is known as the Pac-Man. I don't know if you guys are aware of the game, the new generation, but Pac-Man was a very hit game during our time. Okay, so this is the minor sector, while the Pac-Man is the major sector. Okay, what is the tangent? A straight line that touches the circle at one point. So please note that this line is only touching the circle at this point. If it is not intersecting the curve, because in that case it would touch the circle at 2 points. So a tangent is a straight line that touches the circle at one point only. So it just touches the circle. It does not cross it. It does not intersect it. Okay. And what is the formula for calculating the circumference of the circle? As already discussed, circumference is the distance all the way around the edge of a circle. So basically the perimeter of a circle. So that is calculated using the formula 2 pi r. Since we know that if we double the radius or two radii add up to one diameter, we can also write the formula as pi d. So the circumference of the circle is calculated using 2 pi r or pi d, where c is basically the circumference of the circle, r is the radius, and d is the diameter. And pi is basically the ratio between the circumference of the circle and the diameter. The circumference of the circle and the diameter. And we often use approximations to make our calculations easier. So we use either 22/7 or 3.14. Now to calculate the area of a circle, what is the area? The area is basically the space inside the circle. So the space inside the circle. The circumference is just the outline or the perimeter of the circle, while the area is the space inside the circle. Okay, so to calculate the area, the formula is pi r square, where A is the area, r is the radius, and pi is the ratio between the diameter and the circumference of the circle. Now, if you want to learn how to find the area of a sector or a segment, that's covered in another video under the title Mensuration 2D. Check that out next if you're ready for the next level. Now let's test your knowledge. I've added a worksheet with a diagram of a circle, and your challenge is to label all the parts. Pause the video now and fill in the boxes. Once you're ready, press play again, and then you can check your answers against the answer key. Okay, so hopefully all of you are done. Let's see how you did. If you got most or all correct, awesome job. And if you missed a few, that's okay too. Rewind and review your hair to learn. So to wrap up, understanding the parts of a circle and knowing how to find its area and circumference gives you a strong foundation for solving more complex problems in geometry and mensuration. They will also help you understand circle theorems later. And whether you're just starting out in grade 6-7 or preparing for your IGCSEs or O-levels, mastering this topic now will make everything else easier. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the rest of the series to access easy-to-understand math lessons. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.